Um, okay. So yeah, I come with a wealth of experience. So without further ado, let me start and give you a little bit of what we're going to do this morning for the next 2 hours. Um, so the webinar is based on event management. It was supposed to be on Teams, but I see the location changed. That's okay. Um, and I did a few things. If you can bring a pen and paper, we needed to write some stuff down. So I'm hoping that you have some sort of writing and a piece of paper. Would that be fine? We will do an introduction this morning, a small icebreaker, and your webinar instruction. We're gonna specifically for about an hour, I'll talk on large events, and a few things on large events, and we will do some activities. And then I would like to take a break. And I know working in industry, we cannot just sit for like an hour. So I'll do a Q&A session. We'll take a 5-minute break, and then I'll move on, and we will work on small events. And then for about 10 minutes, we will do some feedback. So this is what your session will be like this morning. And let me then share with you now the PowerPoint presentation. Let me see how to get back here. Sorry, I just want to get back into the meeting. Let me close this up. Okay. Okay. So my screen is still showing. I'm not exactly sure. How can
Report an issue. Report an issue up list. Report an issue.
I'm not reporting an issue, sorry. Okay, so let's just start. So the webinar this morning, as I said, is based on event management, and it's based on large and small events. The objective today is, at the end of the webinar, you will be able to have the practical skills to design an event, whether it's large or small, plan the event, also market this event, and coordinate the event. Okay, so that's exactly what the objective is this morning. Okay, I had a great introduction this morning, and thank you very much. Didn't get your name, but thank you so much for that. Yeah, I come with quite a large amount of experience in the education and training sector, including the hospitality sector. And I did a few years overseas. So yeah, that's where my background comes from. I'd like to very quickly ask the attendees, if you could, I know you guys fill the register. If you can put your name in the chat box, and your job title and what you're hoping to learn from the session. I'll give it about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes. I'm not exactly sure. I can't see how many attendees. If you can put your name in the box, and could you give me a job title and what you're hoping to learn from the session would be great. Thank you, guys. I'll give you 5 minutes to quickly do that. Thank you. I said, Melanie Shea, thank you very much. Kevin Charles, thank you. And Fisher, Melissa Lopez, Tina Slovak. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. Awesome. Jonathan Bold. Wow, Janice. Marketing. It's going up so quickly. Alison Hayes. Thank you very much, guys. Oh, we have a whole lot of people from different fields. This is amazing. Everyone, could you please mute, because someone just said there's a lot of background. Thank you.
Can I move them to sandpaper in the meeting?
Thank you. Okay, I think that's about it. Thank you, everyone. It's been an absolute pleasure, but your names are running so quick on the chat box. I couldn't see some of you guys, but thank you so, so much for this. Interesting to see it's different people from different roles who have different roles in the in this webinar. So I'm quite happy to see there's different people. Thank you for that. So I see with my icebreaker, it was supposed to be something about, hold on a second. So my icebreaker is a very simple one. I think instead of asking you to open up your recorder because of the noise, I'm talking about events because I see there's different roles, people who have different roles. Could you possibly, with this icebreaker, I will start first. What initially attracted you to this role or this industry? So, you might be in a role that you got yourself into by default, or you could have, it could be your passion that you are here and, this is where you want to be. So this is my 5-minute icebreaker where you can think about what attracted you to this industry. I'm not asking if this is, but how did you come about to come into this industry to do what you are doing now? For me, I started out in industry, but somewhere along the way, I found out that I had a passion to teach, but I had to have the background before I could teach hospitality. Did somebody say something? No. Okay. And I think along that way, along the path of working in industry, I decided that I would be an educator. And after 14 years, decided I will change my course of study and go in education and education and training specifically. And there's a huge difference between higher education and vocational. Vocational is more on the skill side, and I'm a specialist in that area. I love to educate. I love to teach. I love to, impart skills that I have gained over the industry. And what attracted me most was this industry is a vibrant industry. Whether you're in South Africa or whether you're in any other parts of the world, it is, we know how difficult it is to work in this industry, but it is truly glamorous for me. After being on two sides of the fence, I feel, for me, I'm biased. It's one of the best industries you can work in. And it gives you so much flexibility to do so many things. So if I can ask you to also tell me what attracted you to this industry. Your roles are different, so you can just tell me a little bit about why you are here and what you like about it. Thank you. Oh, yes, for sure. When you work in events, this is what happens. You keep you on your toes all the time. Absolutely. Love this. AA? This is amazing. Oh yeah, one of our core functions, I think, is to serve others. Absolutely. Many people are getting involved. Wow. It's really good. This is amazing. I think all of us that work in industry, we love people. We love service to others. And that's like one of our core, if you look at us, we have a few similarities in why we are in this industry. Service to others. We love people. We love to see their faces when they are happy with the service they receive from us. Oh yeah, and meeting new people every day. This is and different kinds of people, by the way. Like, okay, I think that's about it. I think so. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm not really sure how, just gonna say recorded. Okay, so let's start. What is an event? Events are happenings often used to suggest that what happened on an unusual scale or a memorable event, and something that is that we can't forget. Okay. Most of us participated in events by managing the event, but managing the event is a difficult task to achieve its objective. So, going to an event is one thing, but managing an event is another dimension. So for all of us that are in the industry and that are working with events, we know the difficulty, we know the immense challenges we have in just achieving this objective. And it's not only putting out the event, like some of us said in the chat, is that it's about meeting your client's expectation, and that's your first and foremost. What your client has desired, you need to now meet that objective. Event management involves planning, organizing, and executing live events, which could include a brand or product launch, an exhibition, a concert, or even a conference. It is an extended format of advertisement through more interactive, though it's more interactive. So if you're doing advertisement, that's more interactive with people around and doing all sorts of stuff. I want to give you the definition of what a large event is and a small event. Large events means an event that extensively impacts the surrounding community, vehicular and pedestrian traffic. It requires significant setup, including but not limited to erection of structures that may require a department or of building permit. So when I talk about that, I'm talking about, let's talk about the World Cup. We're talking about that, where structures have to be built. We have to worry about vehicles. We have to worry about pedestrian. We have to worry about the noise that's going to impact, the surrounding, businesses or local residents. We're also looking at safety. So yeah, so this is what large events are about. It's not just a big event on your on your property or the grounds of where you are working. We are talking about massive events. And the clear one that we recently had was the Olympics, and requires substantial coordination between the mayor's office, including the police department, fire department, Department of Transportation, and the executive director of the office, like the citywide event coordination and management. This event, large events, specifically can accommodate between 2,000 to 10,000 attendees. It could be more, but we are just talking on the side of what you can actually do for large events. Small events means any activity except community festivals of fewer than 1,000 people, which may either open to the public or to a private event. And these can be examples of anything from a wedding to I'm trying to think, a conference, a day conference, maybe 2 days conference. This is what can be considered a small event. Okay. Anybody have any questions for me? You can open your mic and you can ask me questions. If not, I will have a Q&A session at the end. But if you'd like to ask me a question, please pose the question. You can open up your mic and ask me, or you can pose the question in the chat box. I will see it and then. Okay, no one. I'll move on. So let's look at some examples of events. Can you, I don't know if you want to open up your mic or if you want to chat. I'm a bit worried about the noise behind. Can we look at some examples of large events? So if somebody could give me some examples, I will write here of some examples of large events. So I'm asking if you can put something in the chat or open up the mic and tell me some examples of large events that you think is this. I'll give you the first one, the World Cup, our Rugby World Cup. As you see, I love rugby, right? Okay, I see a few here. Let's have a look at the messages quickly. Professional golf tournaments, absolutely. I just want to quickly copy this and put this there. Professional golf tournaments. Intonation. Can you explain what intonation is? I'm looking at, did I miss something? Yes, I missed something. Go back up. Tomorrowland golf. These are all golf tournaments, okay? Splashy Fin. What is Splashy Fin? Music festival. Absolutely, there's a music festival. Quickly, let me just put this in here. Sorry, I just want to put this, some of the great events that you guys are putting up there. A music festival. Joburg Open. Crystal, tell me what that is. Maybe I'm just out of it. No Bets National. Interesting. There's lots of golf tournaments, and I can see all the guys from golf. This is amazing. You know I have no idea how to play golf. I watch it and I'm just lost. Let's have a look at the demo we have. Political rally, absolutely. Absolutely. That's chaotic in itself, you know, in these political rallies. We've experienced that recently. No problem. Election, yes. Election, I'll say political rally. Relative to clubs, Rainbow Racecourse, Durban. Absolutely. The Durban July is one of those big ones. When we talk about the Tomorrowland Live Golf, I'm not sure what this stands for. this probably could be big. I'm not really sure, because I know when you have international golfers here, or professional golf, then you have all of these golfers that are here. Marathons, yes. That also is big. The comrades, yes. I think did I put the comrades in here? Wow, we have so much. And the comrades. Yeah, I think you have the gist of this. Thank you, everyone. I think you have the gist of this, is that when you have a large event, it's a huge, I can't really even think the enormity of the amount of people that we have in these events. People that are attending, there's cars, there's entertainers, it's massive. And if you start small, and if somebody came to you and told you, I'd like you to host let's just say the marathon, or the comrades, or let's just say the comrades, right? We know what it is. Just to start thinking of it, and it's the start of getting people to enter. You got to make sure that that the police is informed. It's out of my brain when you think about, you have to get authorities, ambulances, first aid, firefighting, or the firefighters, or the fire department. I can't say firefighters, but you need to get the fire department, the police department, the transportation department. You've got to get, help with traffic. And then you've got to think about the safety of the runners, and the safety of the people that are attending, spectators. So it's massive. It's quite big. It's quite a big thing. But yeah, so we actually, so these are big events that we actually host in South Africa, and it's amazing to see what we do. And we've had successful events in South Africa, if I think about this. And if you look in the world as well, people are, ahead of us, but we still do quite well when it comes to big events. So another quick one. Let's look at some small events. Think of the ones that you have done on your side, at the property you work at, or the company, or the hotel that you work at, or the resort that you work at, and think of small ones. Think of where 1,000 and under people that have attended your events. Let's see what we have. Golf days, charity gala. Right, let's go. I see a few here. Right, so it's golf days, charity gala. I'm trying to see what else I can quickly write. Weddings, kids' parties. Yes, kids' parties. Weddings. Wine fairs, rich club. Wine fair. Rich club. This is so interesting. Rich club. Church events, quiz nights, baby showers. Yes. Church events. With events like, you don't really need, you can do this within your parameters of your establishment. You don't need to get outside help. Christmas market, donkey derby. This is so interesting. Product launch, team building. Let me just copy and paste this. There's so many. Yeah, product launches. Let me start writing. Okay, only but a few. Okay, so we've got poker evenings. Yeah, fundraising auctions. Very well. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. So now you see, it's not as big as this. It's not as big as large events, right? Pretty small. Nothing, yes, it's fancy. A lot of work goes into small events. Let's not take that away from small events. There's a lot of planning, a lot of organizing, a lot of putting together. So yeah, but I think if you compare the organization and the planning from small events to large events, that's day and night. So yeah, let's move on. I just want to quickly show you some pics of a large event and a small event. This is basically one of the indabas that used to happen in Durban. I'm not sure if it still does, um, but they call it something else now. But this was the last one they did, I think, 2 years ago. And a small event is like a wedding. So thank you for that. Does anybody have any questions for me? I can quickly look at the chat. Diwali market, Intervillage, golf day, poker evenings. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. No questions. Let's go on. In the next few slides, you will understand how to plan, design, market, and coordinate a large event. So what I am going to do is, let me see, where's your Zoom host? Sorry. I want to ask, is there a way on Zoom that I can put people into little groups?
Yes, I can make breakaway rooms for you, Pauline. How many do we need?
I don't know. I cannot see how many people is in the meetings, or in this webinar. I can't see that from my side.
So we've
If you can
got
break them up.
81. We've got 81
Oh my, okay.
screens.
This is interesting. Okay. I don't know. I think maybe that would be quite a lot, right? I want to do the scenario where we are doing so the scenario is this, and let's see how we can actually do it. It's a 3-day exhibition whereby tickets will be sold, exhibitor fees will be charged, 5,000 delegates are expended to attend on each day. There's gift bags for these visitors. So I gave a little bit of what's required, like audiovisual equipment, stage requirements, live demonstrations, and so on will happen in this tourism exhibition. I would like to put them in as fewer groups as possible. So if there's 80, maybe there'll be 10 groups of 8 or
Yeah,
10
so if we
people
do
in a
10
group.
groups, it will be about 8 to 9 people per group.
Okay, that will be perfect. What I do want to do is give them about
Awesome.
At least 10 or 15 minutes to put together a rough idea as to how they will plan and organize this tourism exhibition.
Okay, perfect. I'll create those groups. It's going to put everybody into the groups, and then I will give you rights to jump between the groups if you want to just go check in with everybody.
Yes, please, if you can. Because what I'd like to do is they can represent one person from the group to actually tell us what they are doing and give us an idea of how they're going to organize and plan it. So when they come back, that's what they will do. So I'll give them about 10, 15 minutes to put it together, or 10 minutes, and then the next 5 or 10 minutes, we can discuss.
Perfect. Okay, perfect. I'm going to open those rooms for us quickly.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Donovan? Is it Donovan? Group 9 of 9. I'd like to get into, are you there? No one's here. Let's join.
Just go through this. Can we
Sorry?
just go through this via points? So we'll go venue, done. Marketing plan, give
Yes.
a point. So it's just points. We're not gonna give in-depth explanation.
No, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of people here as well. So it's going to take quite a lot of time for us to get through all of that. So, I was thinking on a broader level, what would be, your plan for the venue? If this is a tourism exhibition, what would be the plan for which venue would take it to? Because I've given you the amount of people, the number of days you are receiving visitors, and you also have to sell tickets.
Okay.
And how would you design this event? In a brief story, How would you market it? Would you use social media? Would you, use, any other type of advertisements, and your coordination of the event?
Okay, perfect.
All right. My apologies if it doesn't come across very in-depth because of our time, that we have currently. So,
I'm just letting everyone know Marcel Rolt is struggling with her room. So if she's gonna join us.
okay,
All right.
that's a problem. I need to go back to, I think Donovan has put everyone in groups, and he's only allowed me in one group, so I need to get to the other groups as well. So I will just go back to him and speak to him. Thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate that. But yeah, we have time constraints today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
That's a good venue.
I don't know. I think you're the one that's going to put it together then for us, seeing that you're going to do the notes.
Okay. All right. So 2,000 people over 3 days. I think the Gallagher Santon venue is perfect because it's a tourism exhibition.
Okay.
And then in terms of, so we found the venue, we need now to organize security.
Sorry, just a question, Eleanor and Louis. When you're doing a tourism event for that type of people, would Gallagher be a tourism event destination? Or would you rather look at something like Sun City, which markets itself to tourism? As an example.
Oh, that's actually a fair point because Sun City is a tourist
That's true.
area.
And it can take up to 2,000 people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we should just say like a type of event.
That's a nice one. I like that. Yeah, I like that one.
So we just rather say we go with a destination, whether it's Sun City, whatever, a destination that's tourism driven.
Yes.
Obviously, if you go to a Sun City, a lot of the boxes are ticked automatically because they've got security, but everything else that goes with it. They've got the in-house.
That is very
AVTs,
true. Well done.
and all those type of things. The marketing around it is obviously through social media, through tourism networks, and through the various platforms. That's really it. No offense, because everything else is there.
You chose a very good venue because everything's included already.
I think that's half the secret when you're doing an event to that targets a specific market. If you chose the right venue, it makes it easier to sell and for people to attend.
And then, of course, Sun City Resort, they'll use their own social media to advertise this event. So that goes to their audience as well.
Correct. So if you look at it the last couple of years, the CMASA conferences, if you look at the highest attendees have been basically where it's an easier place to get to, number one, logistically, where everybody can stay on the same property.
Yeah.
If you look at that, once you start going, I'm just using an example, when we were at Rand Park, I think it was 3-4 years ago, whatever, everybody was all over the place. When we were at San Lemire, everybody was in one village.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, in my opinion. So that's my opinion.
Definitely.
I agree, especially with the hotels also gives you options. You can stay from the vacation club to the palace. Depends on what your budget is.
Yes.
Correct. So we've gone with a simple one. We chose the right venue and then the rest is done.
I'm sure, Sun City, with us bringing such a large audience, that they would probably...
Ready? There will be 5,000 delegates per day. And with any exhibition, you would charge exhibition fees for the exhibitors. You would charge ticket fees for attendees. You would, need a whole lot of equipment and so on and so on. But it's basically saying, where would you do this event? How would you, plan the event and design this event? And where would you market it? So it's not, a whole lot of details. You don't have to put together sketches. It's basically just thinking on those lines. How would you go about planning this massive event?
Okay.
That's it.
All right. So is it just, I don't know who these other two people are. If Arthur, not Arthur's there, and Arthur is can you unmute yourself? I don't know if I have.
Try.
Hi guys, please, if you haven't joined a room, please make sure to do so. If you do not join a room, you will not, unfortunately, not receive a certificate for the session. So please, if you can, please join a room.
Hi.
Pauline, the people in room 4 need your help if you don't mind going there next.
I want to, yeah, I'm actually going to, I actually joined group 1. Group
Okay.
6 had a bit of an issue, but I tried to sort that out. I will go now to room 4.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pauline.
What have you decided in your groups? So which group? Group one. Let's start with group one.
Pauline, shall I go? I think we were group 2.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So also very vaguely, we
Yeah.
kind of just said that we would set up where are we? You would obviously have a committee to run this kind of an event because it's
Absolutely.
quite hard. It's not something that I don't think many of us get involved in, that number and that kind of venue.
Yeah. Yes.
You would have a planning committee, which would
Yes.
be involved in deciding probably upfront the budget and the timelines involved in that, because those are your, biggest things, trying to book a venue. With that number of people, we picked Gallagher Estate just because it's tourism and it's indoors, but I mean, obviously it could be anywhere. And your timing would have to be probably 1 to 18 months. Just to secure a venue and obviously market it and get it off the ground in time. So your committee would basically then consist of maybe one section that is involved in the actual delegates that will attend the event. So coming up with a ticketing system, selling to those delegates. Second one would be dealing with the exhibitors. So setting up a floor plan, costings, and selling your exhibition stands. Third, and probably your biggest committee would be an operations committee, which would be involved in the actual setup of the exhibition stands, coordinating of the actual, the setup and the running of the event over the days, coming up with a program of events, ensuring that there's enough food and beverage to support both the delegates and the people, the exhibitors, a JOC committee or a health and safety, committee, and involved in that would be security, and then a marketing committee. So with it being the tourism industry, I'm assuming that you would go for all forms of marketing because they are still involved in a lot of magazines, newspaper, that type of thing, as opposed to only social media.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
Okay.
How about group 3? Anybody wants to go next?
Hi, Pauline.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm from group 4.
Thank you.
Okay, so it took a while for our team as we had missed the whole brief from the onset, but after you joined our group, that helped quite a bit. So we just did a highlight of everything because, of course, we already pressed for time. So for our venue, we said we would go with an indoor venue, a convention center, Gallagher type of event, as that would be ideal for an event of such nature. So any convention center that would be able to accommodate that, of course, depending on which city it's in. And then for production, we would have to hire a production company for lighting, for audio, and should there be any other stage requirements. But however, for a venue such as a convention center or Gallagher, that would be able to have already some productions, things that are already in place. So which would also help in terms of our production planning. And then for advertising, we went that we would use various forms of advertising, social media, as a lot of people now do use social media. We would buy TV ad space in between travel channels. We would buy billboards and TV ad space at airports.
Yes.
And then for the type of exhibitors that we would invite to buy exhibition space, it will be your travel agencies, your coach hires, your municipal travel departments, travel and tourism departments, and such. And how would we sell tickets? So we would have to check for the type of market that we are going for in that space and see whether, because we do have multiple where you can be able multiple companies or systems that you can be able to sell your tickets with. So such as Howler, CompuTicket, Ticket Pro. So we would have to check for the markets that we're going for ticket buyers, which one would be most ideal, most convenient for them, and choose from that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's about all we covered.
Thank you. No, that's absolutely
team.
great. It's absolutely great. You've chosen a venue, your marketing, and how would you sell the tickets, including getting your equipment in. So thank you very much for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other group that want to come would like to give us their info on what they've put together for this little scenario?
Hi, it's
Hi,
Eleanor.
Eleanor. Hi, Eleanor.
We from group 6.
Okay.
And yeah, I didn't get to see the questions, but we've basically just done an overview.
Okay.
So our venue, we went with the Sun City Resort,
Okay.
which I think is a very awesome venue because Sun City is where all the tourism, it's the heart of tourism in our country. And it basically has all the structures in place already, like transport within Sun City,
Yes.
security, there's activities that we can incorporate in these 3 days, like Valley of the Waves, some
Trying to, yes,
movies.
I like this idea. Yes, absolutely. You're trying to bank on or to bring in all of the other activities and sell those as well. So that's absolutely, that's what we need to think about, those lines. How much can we sell to people that's going to attend?
In a way, it would save on money as well because everything is already there. You just have to obviously stick within your budget and arrange in advance, communicate and plan in advance, and then everything there really falls into place automatically. In terms of tickets, we would sell on the big sites like the other lady said, Ticket Pro. We would also use the Sun City Resort social media page to market out because they have a large tourism connection. Of course, the company's social media as well. What else? Food, in terms of food, we would just have to arrange with them to organize all the food for all 3 days. And yeah, there's sound already in place if we had to use one of the venues. Yeah, everything is there.
Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. Who wants to go next? We have 7. Hi.
How are you?
Fine, and you?
Okay, room 3. Sorry, you skipped us, but it's okay.
I had all these messages. Please go to this room. Please do that. Okay, so I'm sorry about I didn't get back in there, but thank you so much. So tell us what you've decided on.
So basically, we started with saying that we'd have to maybe look at creating an app. So this app would then have different categories, obviously for a map of the facility, for the entrance, the exit, the fire escape, medical facilities, the food stalls, obviously with all the different time slots. So obviously with 5,000 people, not everybody is going to be able to be doing the same thing at the same time. So we'd have a concert going on at the one section, then we'd have a speaker going on in the other section, and obviously there'd be different time slots to accommodate the 5,000. Obviously in terms of marketing, we do social media, radio, billboards, handing out flyers, which would have to get permission from the municipality to do. And that also generates income for other people as well to support people who might not have employment. And we'd also have to get permission for having such a large amount of people. Health and safety, security, 24/7 surveillance would have to be on the premises at all times because obviously the tickets would be sold to the public. So you won't be able to control who will be coming onto the premises. And then obviously security at the entrance, the exits, to do maybe metal detector scanners, those kinds of things. And then how we would sell the tickets would be on Quickets registration. And then once people purchase the ticket, they receive a barcode, they walk to the entrance, and then we give them wristbands. And obviously there would be different colors for each ticket. So they would have the option to choose to buy the full 3 days, maybe a day ticket, a VIP ticket, and things like that. And then obviously wristbands also, or name tags for the heads of the departments. In terms of the gift bags, that would be sponsors. So we'd ideally look at getting sponsors to provide the gift bags. We'd have to get an IT specialist, sound equipment, staging, speakers, obviously throughout the entire premises. Furniture, stretch tents, yeah. Food and beverage, it'd be food stalls, a market, obviously selling different dietary requirements, halal, kosher, alcohol, non-alcoholic. We did discuss also the times. So it would commence at about 9 a.m. and then would finish at about 4. And then afterwards would be cocktails, giving people the option to network. Porta potties, toilets, dustbins, all the crockery, cutlery, glasses, everything would be recyclable. And then we'd also have to discuss the decor and the theme of the entire function and have Wi-Fi available so that people can upload onto social media and live stream for advertisements.
That's it. I want to quickly tell you, I recently returned from Saudi Arabia, and one of the biggest events that they have during their winter time is called Saudi Events. It happens in about 4 different locations, and you spoke about the application, and that just took me back there. They have an application, and on that application tells you the different events that happen during the 6 months. So it starts in October and finishes in March. And all of the events that happen is loaded on there. As you said, an application, and you have a barcode. So if you do buy a ticket online, and then that sends you a barcode, and that's what you enter with. It's amazing how we do things slightly different. We're not there yet, but I think we're going to get there with with the millennials now and the way the younger generation thinks. I think we will get there. But it was so amazing to see. Yes, they advertise on all different platforms, but you need this application to actually get your ticket, get that barcode and get in, and it tells you everything that's happening. As you say, what's happening in the different locations, and you can choose if you want to add to an event that you need to pay for within the event, or you have to, you don't want to do that and you want to do something else. It's actually super great. Their technology is on another level. But when you spoke of the application, it just took me there, thinking that we can do something like that when we have these big exhibitions.
And
but
people can also upload money as well onto the application. So then obviously we can also control money and for food and technology is great.
Great. Thank you so much. Anyone else wants to go up next?
Hi, Pauline, it's Vickers from Group 8.
Thank you.
So we broke it down into the bare basics, which will then be step number 1, which be what location, what authorities, and the prize for the event. Number 2, how will we be able to accommodate the traffic, foot and vehicle, and then the facilities to accommodate the traffic. Staffing and scheduling, who will be responsible for what, with all parties involved. Then the vendors, food and exhibitors, entertainment and speakers, the time allocations so that we know who's up when and where. Then to get a vendor to pack and distribute the bags. We've done a few where we have trucks with the bags in, and then at the gates you can give out the goodie bags along with the tickets. And then how will we advertise the event, and which platforms will you use for that? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vikas. Thank you. We have group 5, 7, and 9. I know one group didn't have much people in. So anybody else wants to go up? I know I'm running out of time.
Pauline, I'll just quickly mention what we spoke about. Group
Thank
number
you, Pauline.
10.
Okay.
We also just took, like everyone mentioned, a lot of good points now already. So we also went from an operational view on the day. So gift bags, we said we would need, if we need to get the gift bags, we would need a budget. We would need appropriate gifts. Are there any specific requirements like colors? We would also then need a special area for the gift bags to be collected on the day. We would need quite a lot of registration tables, most probably for the people to register at. But now, like you say, if you use the app, there's a lot of ways to go about it. On the day, we would need a stage, lighting, obviously your audio visual equipment, your IT and AV technicians. We would need to know if we need like 2 separate venues. Maybe we need one for the speaker and then another one for the exhibition taking place. And yeah, and then we would need staffing, we would need security and parking, signage to show people where to go, smoking area indications, emergency evacuation procedures, paramedics. Yeah, that's basically the short of it.
Thank you so much for that, Corinne. Anybody else wants to quickly give us their information?
Well, from our group, I don't even know what group it was. It might be 5, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it could be maybe,
Yeah.
because 5 didn't go up yet and 8, but share with us what you have.
Okay, what we did, we also laid out a basic plan of what we're going to be doing, you know. So like we said in our group, the events of the size is way above what we in the club industry deal with. You know, we've got PCOs that come in and racing from their sides. We've got our own properties that we really work on. But if we have to go from step 1, you need to choose a venue with the capacity and layout that can accommodate your expected number of exhibitors, visitors, with flexible space for booths, stages, networking areas. The location needs to be accessible for local and international visitors with nearby accommodation and transport links. The amenities need to be like Wi-Fi, needs to be wheelchair friendly. What power and backup generators do we have? You know, with our load shedding schedules that are so reliable. Restrooms, catering facilities. You know, maybe like a big venue, like an exhibition center or something, because you're going to have indoor and outdoor marketing. This is a tourism event, and your tourism also focuses on camping. So the target market for both exhibitors and visitors, you know, like I say, your exhibitors are your, let's say your accommodation sector, tour operators, game lodges, that kinds of things. Your buyer profile, your clients coming through for the days would be your tour operators, foreign travel agencies, airlines, that kind of thing. Where was I? We also need to make sure that we've got safety and security in place, municipal involvement from traffic to police, fire, ambulances, the jocks, building teams to set up the stalls as we get closer, exhibitor briefings on what their requirements would be. Would they be willing to get involved in sponsorship for the giveaway bags? You'll need labor to pack the giveaway bags. You know, so it was a lot of points that we worked through, but
yeah. So the gist of it is it's quite it's a massive task to do something like this.
Yeah, it's huge.
And it will take months and months on end to plan this. So, the biggest scheme of thing is that it's not a day or 2 or a month. It can lead into anything from 12 to 18 months to 24 months in planning to put this in motion. Thank you. Is that it? Thank you so much. I can see my time is going, and I know that at least 3 groups didn't come up. Is there anybody want to quickly do a minute and then I can just tie up the large events.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi, from the River Club. Hi. Okay.
This is group 9, representing room 9.
Thank you.
So everybody's covered most of it. I mean, I think all of it is quite repetitive at this point.
Okay.
But we thought about Greenpoint Stadium.
Okay.
It says apparently it takes up 55,000 people, but you could section it off accordingly, right?
Okay.
So that exhibitors have enough room, there's staging, the venue is used up well, and there's just enough space, you know, to host both the people, the delegates, as well as the staff and everybody else. Then we were thinking of marketing before and after and during, with on-site broadcasting and social media influencers throughout, before the event, during the event, and even after the event. Then a detailed program was important to us, like you said, to show what's happening where on the venue. We thought the branding plan was also important for sponsors so that they know exactly what they're allowed to brand, what they need to bring, where in the venue they have access to, and visibility. Then entertainment, as well as security. That's across the board: traffic control, guards, fire brigade and marshals, and on-site police. Food stalls to cater to both exhibitors and staff and everyone that's at the venue. Transportation, we thought about maybe if it would be a possibility to give or supply transportation for the delegates, as well as maybe on-site porters, depending on the venue, taking people from the parking lots to the correct entrances so that the registration process as well is quite swift. You go exactly where you need to be. And then sponsors and collecting goodie bag items. We thought that's something you'd need to control so that your goodie bags are broad and don't have repetitive items in it. So we'd have to have a list exactly what we're getting from who for our goodie bags and put the time aside to put them together. And then online sales, obviously, because that's most accessible and can be shared easily, getting a vaster reach. And then a speaker and a master of ceremonies just to control the crowd and control the program as it goes along throughout the days.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Thank you. I think group 1 and group 7 didn't go up, but if you guys want to give me a minute, or do you have anything that you want to chat to us, either group 1, room 1 or room 7? I know one. Hi.
Cool. Yeah, we'll give you a quick rundown of what
Thank
we
you,
chatted
Donovan.
about as quickly as possible. So we were trying to think a little bit more out the box. From a venue point of view, an outdoor venue as close to as possible to the Kruger National Park. That could possibly also lend itself to daily tours into the park from the event site. The outdoor function or event would also lend itself to a bushveld experience where you could offer a camping experience similar to like a Mighty Men conference almost. Okay. From a marketing point of view, we wanted to tie in a charity to possibly give a portion of the proceeds to wildlife conservation or maybe a community upliftment program. Get sponsors involved, tap into the current tourism industry for a main prize where we could possibly include everybody that visits the exhibition, where they can then do like a scavenger hunt and go to points of interest across the country and then maybe win a main prize for participating. Goodie bags as well. We could maybe tap into a community project where they could do beads or gifts that we can include in those goodie bags. And then a portion of that could also go to them. And then from a coordination point of view, like everyone has mentioned a lot of the good points already, but it would be the basic stuff: parking, security, traffic, medical services, absolutely. Food and beverage. Under food and beverage, tapping into the local cultures around us, like potjie course, things like that. Waste management, cleanup teams. So yeah, that's in a nutshell what we're talking about.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I like the point that you made about the social development or the social responsibility that we add to these massive events. And one of the big things when it comes to massive events like this, one of our huge responsibility is to take care of and be socially responsible, whether it's, tapping into our, our local talent, the social responsibility of making sure the environment is clean, making sure that we are not, damaging anything, because huge events like this does bring a lot of damage. The gas that we let out in vehicles, the amount of waste that we have to use. So in thinking that, it's one of the main points of when we do this type of events, we've got to make sure that we take the environment into consideration. So thank you for that information as well. And that's a great idea about the Kruger National Park. It's one of our selling points in Southern Africa. So yeah, anybody else? We just have one more group if you want to. No.
Cool. I'll go from group one. We had the same idea actually, Kruger Park. We just thought it's the best way, for anyone overseas to experience South Africa and what it has to offer. Just quickly, we also said that we would run a social media campaign and obviously try get our leads to go onto our website and purchase tickets. And then we would have, the different stages of tickets, such as your early bird and, stage 1 and stage 2, just to create a little bit of a hype for it. We also suggest maybe getting a radio station involved, because that could obviously get quite a big reach, and they're quite experienced, I guess, in running their own events. We also looked at conservation and maybe getting a few charities involved. And then a few other ideas we had were maybe having drum lessons, traditional South African foods, maybe getting a few proudly South African companies to get involved in the gift bags, getting a few live performers, such as, maybe Black Coffee or the Parlour Tones or something like that. And then, maybe having a big marquee where we have a boat and everyone can socialize and network, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Thank you very much, guys. I know my time is running, but I really do appreciate the information that came out from your discussions. So I'm going to quickly go through some stuff, and I know I'm not going to rush through. I'm going to try as much as possible to stay within my timeline, but let's go. So if you look at this type of event that we want to do, the tourism exhibition, it takes a massive amount of planning. And this was one of the floor plans from a previous exhibition that I picked up. And to show you the amount of the enormity of this kind of event. And if you just look at this, just by looking at this, it'll tell you the amount of planning, pre-planning actually, before the event start. And as I said to one of the groups, it'll take, anything from 18 to 24 months to put this in motion. And this will be the end result on the day. This would be what your plan would look like, your floor plan. So, looking at big venues, for example, would be, as you say, the Gallagher Estate, convention centers. I'm trying to think where in the Kruger National Park, maybe there is a place that you can't do an exhibition like this. And so, it's quite a big event for that. And also most convention centers have different halls and so on. So you got to take a lot into consideration. What was great from the groups was they came back with what we should necessarily have in terms of in the venue, and how we can also feed off any other services that's being provided from the venue. For example, from the Sun International, from that perspective. So when you're planning your event, I think everybody, when they went into their groups, we didn't do a lot of it but I will give you some tips. The first and foremost thing is for any massive type of event like this, you would need to think, what is your theme? But you would collab, or you would speak to the person who came to you, your client. These are the questions you'll ask, the theme, the type of venue they're looking at, and you can go and look for it, the date. the authorities that you need to get involved with, exhibitors, equipment required, the cost and staffing responsibilities. One of the groups said, this is outside their role. But when I looked at the information you brought in, you actually brought this information to the table. So you actually can do something like this. It's not out of your, I think if you sit and think about it, you will be able to plan a massive event like this. And, you may have not gotten all the information, but you did get at least 70% of the information. You brought that to the table. Also, when you design the event, coming back to that, the layout of the exhibition area, the layout of sections for networking and live demonstrations and events. So if I go back to my layout here, you would see this is the way, this is some ways of that you can use to design an event. Marketing the event. We had some great ideas, the application, that just took me back to being in Saudi. Yes, social media is one of our biggest marketing places. A lot of people are using different platforms like Instagram, TikTok. I think we use Facebook, we use, and, for big events like this, you would go to, tour companies, you would use the airport, and you have to get the bigger picture in terms of marketing, unlike smaller events. Promoting this event as well, you can use different ways and means of promoting a massive event like this. One of the ideas came from one of the groups is doing these ads in between. We have a lot of National Geographic and a lot of DSTV have all these places that you can visit. You can do these ads in between those shows. Also sponsorship and finance. And so for those gift bags I was saying and things that you want to give out for free, you can find sponsorships. So there's a lot of planning that goes into something massive like this. Coordination of the event is so very important prior to the event happening. I think preparation is so important from the day you start this. Staff management is very important. Checklists. I think everything needs to be written. One of the groups also mentioned you need to start with a committee, and that's one of the things you need to have. Start with a committee. People need to be given their roles and responsibilities, and then from there on out, you start planning and preparing and have meetings. In the beginning, it can be once every 2-3 weeks, or once a month, and then it'll become 2-3 weeks, and then it's every week and every day before the event actually starts. So that is very important in coordination. Yeah, so that's that from my side. Does anybody have any questions for me on, planning a large event? And a lot of the groups spoke about, I don't want to repeat, a lot of groups spoke about, we have to get, safety and security, we have to get medics involved, the fire department, transportation, we have to get all of those authorities involved because we are dealing with people. We are dealing with, we might have tourists from other countries. We really do not want to have a bad name for ourselves. And the reasons why we get authorities involved is so that we can have a smooth running event. Anybody have any questions for me? I'm just trying to see if I can see where the questions are. Chat, nothing. Okay, guys. Then with a small event, I think everybody that is on this webinar has at one point or not have done a small event or coordinated and planned a small event. I was going to do a scenario, but I think, our time is running out in terms of, going away now and having a small event. I actually wanted to actually do in your groups a wedding, to plan a wedding. I've given you the date and the guests and all of that. And I don't think we'll have enough time. I have less than 6 minutes to get through, but I can then go through what exactly, which I think you can even add to my, you can actually put something in the chat. So what I did was I had gone through and put together something for a wedding. So when we are doing a wedding, we got to think of many things. And if we are having the wedding, your venue is the wedding venue. And some of the things we need to take into consideration is the decor, exactly what your client wants. And I think you need to talk to your client for this. And, we have most brides involved in weddings. So you got to think of the theme, the color, you got to think about the settings, you got to think about the equipment you need, the lighting, the stage, a whole host of things. And, I don't need to repeat this because I think many of you that are on the webinar have at some point either attended a wedding or have planned and coordinated a wedding. So yeah, there's also a lot to be done, but these are small events. And some examples of small events, as we said, we have birthday parties, baby showers, a quiz night. We can have, I'm trying to think what else did we say on that list. We could have maybe games day or games night. So yeah, so there's lots of small events that you can do. The important about planning a small event is you don't need to go outside your company. Everything happens within the location at where you are because the event is happening at your location. So basic things that you need to consider is the theme, the venue is your hotel, or if you don't have a hotel or a venue, you need to think of where you would have this venue that is suitable for your client. Food and beverage requirements, equipment that is required, the cost and staffing responsibilities. How are you going to design a wedding or design this event? You would have to also consider your client in this, the layout of the wedding venue area, the theme that you're going to use, the food service area, the equipment that you're going to require. And there's going to be quite a lot of equipment. For example, you need lighting, you would need speakers, audio visual. You might need, this depends on your client, not really what you want. And I think this will be in the brief from your client, what exactly you would have to have on that day, because they will be quite specific. Marketing. I think in weddings, you don't really market, but some, not all, you will find some bridal couple will ask you to do the invitations, send the invitations out and get RSVPs in. And if those are rare cases, but if you do, I think also you would have to liaise with your client, find out exactly what they want on this, the invitation, what information, who, or what information do they want? And you have to keep going back and forth in terms of the design of this invitation and when you're going to send it out and when you will receive RSVPs. So this is also, timeline is very important because I think, or I know that most venues charge per head. So, you just don't want people rocking up there and you don't have food and beverage, or you don't want people not rocking up that you sent out invitation and you're over catered or under catered for. Coordinating. I think, weddings, normally you would get a year in advance. But I think when you start planning a wedding, it takes about 3 to 6 months, depending on your suppliers, contractors, and depending on what you need in the hotel. A lot of the times, if you're doing this at a hotel, a lot of the times you would find most of your equipment and resources in the hotel. But if you're using another venue, you would have to find suppliers, contractors, and people that you have to work with. So you have to coordinate that. It will take anything from 3 to 6 months to coordinate staff management, vendors, and you got to have mainly checklists in place. So yeah, that is about small events. There is some really nice resources. I will put the PowerPoint in the chat, or I'll send this to Roxanne because Roxanne was liaising with Summit. So I will send this to Roxanne. There's really nice resources in terms of how to host conferences. It's written by a South African author, and he gives great tips. I mean, I've learned a few things reading that. He's given great tips on how we can go about planning, coordinating. He also has some great checklists in there that you could use for future. So yeah, that's the resources that I can offer you from this webinar. Thank you so much, everybody. What I would like to do is for the next maybe minute or two, if you would like to ask me any questions, I could answer them briefly. Or if you would like to ask me questions, later on, I'm quite happy to answer them or give you some tips or try and assist you with something that you need. Yeah, if you have some questions, please feel free to ask me.
Alrighty, anybody, any questions for Pauline before we wrap up? Okay, if you guys do think of anything, please feel free to shoot me a mail and I will be in touch with Pauline and we can get any of your questions answered for you. I have also included the register in the chat box as well as the feedback form. If you guys can please take 2 minutes to complete that before you log off, it would be greatly appreciated. And then Pauline, thank you so much for that. Guys, I will be sending out everything after the webinar, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, thank you so much. My apologies, I couldn't do the last breakout room. And I think we spent a lot more time on the large events. Unfortunately, that was, I think, took a lot more time because a lot of people don't deal with large events. And I think, I hope they have, they will take away 1 or 2 points from what we have discussed today.
Absolutely. Thank
you so much for
Pauline.
your time. I really appreciate it. I will send my my PowerPoint presentation because the resources there, if anybody wants to use it, it is readily available. So please, if we can share that with the delegates, would be great.
Absolutely. They'll receive it with their certification. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Have a good one, everybody.
You too.